I seen this in the news today. It's very upsetting. Apparently, Perth, Australia, there's a school there that has banned mullet haircuts. Lord knows what the rationale was here. Apparently, they were deemed unacceptable. Now, this is something that it's an issue that's near and dear to my heart for a variety of reasons, and I'll lay out some of those reasons right now. Back in 2010, 2011, I actually had a very lengthy mullet haircut. I kind of got something going on there now as well. In fact, let me just swap it up here right now. Let's see. Get my fade on. Oh shit! I'm like transporting myself into the mist. There we go. And yeah, so I was. Even this isn't really acceptable to me. How about this? So just want to give you a taste of the mullet here. So this is a baby mullet. It's starting to grow. It's starting to go. And you can see what's going on. I might need some more light in here. Let me just really quickly bring the shade up. Maybe that'll. Okay, that's much better. Well, a little bit better. But anywho, let's go. In the meantime, let's just go back to the old cosmic light rays. I went to the bar, and I went to go in, and some dude was there. The bouncer. He says, "Mate, you can't come in." And I asked him. I said, "Why?" And he said, "Because the mullet, mate." And I thought this was a joke. And I'm like, "Oh, very funny." And I go to saunter. I go past him to go into the club, and another dude grabs me. He's like, "Hey, didn't you fucking hear him? You can't come in, mate." And I'm like, "Wait, are you serious? The mullet? Well, why?" He's like, "Read the sign." And I looked on the wall, and there's a sign on the wall, and this is not like a handmade sign. This is like a printed sign. They went to a shop and had this actually made, and it says clearly on it. It says, number one, no thongs, which means sandals, flip-flops. No singlets, which is the Australian vernacular for wife-beater t-shirts, tank tops. So no thongs, no singlets, and then no rat tail / mullets. Right there in black and white printed. And I was just bewildered and taken aback and confused. And I was like, "Sorry, man, I'm American. I don't really understand. Why?" I'm just kind of, I'm going to abide by the rules. I won't go in. I'll find another place to go, your place. But why? I'm just curious. Why? It's like, all the fights, mate. All the fights. So apparently, here in the United States, this is a haircut that inspires levity. It's amusing to people. It's a funny hairstyle, a bit unusual, self-expression. Down there, down under, it means you're going to fucking stab someone, apparently, because you're some sort of bogan. Now, if you don't know what bogan is, this is a crude, ill-mannered individual who drives a ute. They will sometimes drink what's known as a green can, which is Victoria bitter, some kind of shitty beer. And they also have something called Winnie Blues, which are some kind of shitty cigarette, and they're on Centrelink, which is the dole. Now, to see this whole... And then, by the way, in the wake of that incident, I was actually inspired to cut the mullet. I was like, look, maybe it's time for this to go. Maybe this has run its course. Maybe this has run its course. And I believe it was that before I had left Australia, I cut it off. And this is one of my more shameful moments in my history, that I succumbed to the pressure of other people's views, of the prevailing views of the culture of Perth. It's a real shithole, okay? In retrospect, I'm not really a fan anymore after that harrowing ordeal. And after seeing various indigenous people passed out in the park in broad daylight, it kind of reminded me of San Francisco in some ways. But I was like, damn, well, people really don't like, maybe it's time. Maybe it's time, and I cut it off. Now, to see this now come up in Australia again, in Perth of all places, it's dredging up all kinds of horrifying memories. I'm really feeling some, post-traumatic stress, and I will cry. I will probably have nightmares tonight about this, about being back there and just being ashamed, and not being myself, not being authentic. Now, let's get down and dirty with this, and let's kind of look at the deeper implications here. I think that one of the major negative social conditionings or counter conditionings we could even call them, that prevent us from being able to express ourselves freely in the way that we want to, is this addictive need to judge and be judged. This guy says, hair rowing ordeal. I like that. All right, gold star for Michael Venables, venerable fellow. A hair rowing ordeal. If only I was like rowing a boat. Like I had to row my boat back to America in shame with my tail tucked between my legs after that. But I think that one of the major negative social conditionings that prevents us from expressing ourselves like the way we want, in an authentic way, in a powerful way, is this addictive need to judge others and to be judged ourselves. To be told if what we're doing is good. How well are we doing it? And especially in social interactions, a lot of time we can't really tell what we're doing. We can't see ourselves from an outside perspective. So we sort of give up our self-worth over to these external referents to tell us how good we are. And I believe that judgment is the granddaddy. I mean, there's many, many other negative social counter conditionings, but the granddaddy of all of our little tension blocks that stifle us when we're trying to meet people, trying to talk to people, is from judgment. And then judgment results in tension. What happens basically, it becomes this vicious cycle where we have some sort of impulse to express ourselves, whether that's verbally, emotionally, with our couture, with our fashion. And, that conditioning kicks in, and our intellect, our mind says, this might make us seem stupid. This might make us seem silly. This might make us seem pushy or aggressive or full of ourselves or XYZ. Nah. Let's put that in check to protect ourselves. And then usually this calls into play some kind of physical tension to either shut down the expression. Okay, and that's that feeling of being stifled. So this, of course, then begs the question. Well, a couple of questions come up. Number one, I'm in Sydney and my hair is being censored. It's like this block behind, it's kind of fucked up. But again, this brings to mind a couple of questions. Number one, does this judgment serve some kind of function? Well, obviously it did at some point, because you deemed it necessary. You deemed this judgment to be, and the resulting tension to be somehow useful and necessary for your well-being. Probably when you were younger, your parents were like, sit down in the restaurant, be quiet, don't run around in the supermarket, whatever the case may be. Maybe then you get into the educational system, your peer group is telling you to, your hair's stupid. And now imagine these poor kids. Imagine the youth. Now their school, their teachers are telling them that their haircut is unacceptable. What the fuck? What is going on? Their haircut, because their hair is a lengthy. This is almost like 1950s level repression. How did we come to this? How did we get here? Now, of course, the real answer is we never left, right? But is it useful? I don't know. And if it is useful, who is it useful to? You thought it was useful at some point to protect yourself. But then who do these conditionings serve in society? Who is being served by this? By this conformity? Well, it's hard to say. And this begs, the questions upon questions start to unfold like a kaleidoscope of questions and, Byzantine labyrinth of confusion, which is another negative social conditioning. Nobody is more controllable than a confused person, because they spend all their time trying to figure out what's going on. And this leaves little energy left to address the actual issues. Isn't that interesting? Now, again, I've talked with Owen about this at length. And by the way, nowadays most kids don't care what teachers say and just ignore them. Well, guess what? Not here, because you're kicked out of the fucking school. And if you come in with a mullet, read the news. Google it. Perth, Australia, mullets unacceptable. Check it out. You just won't be permitted into the class. Just ignore what they say. Ignore what they say. Okay, yeah, have fun being expelled for your radical hairstyle. Your dangerous hairstyle. Hair is dangerous. Music is dangerous. Video games are dangerous. Interesting. But look, whether or not, it's sort of like the headless chicken theory, as Owen likes to call it, whether or not there is in fact some sort of Illuminati cabal of mustache-twirling villains conspiring to control society through these various mechanisms of shame and guilt and confusion and negativity and perfectionism, etc., etc. That's neither here nor there. Or whether these things just somehow evolved of their own accord through the natural evolution of civilization. Again, that's neither here nor there. What's important is we start to become aware of them. Okay, we become aware of how these things are affecting us. Because I'm going to be very blunt here. What you think of as your natural uses of energy are in fact deeply affected by the unconscious habits and conditionings that we've been practicing our entire lives. And once you become aware of this, you gain new power with respect to your own life, right? You're no longer a victim of your history. You can start practicing habits of your own choosing. And at the same time, when you become aware of all, again, these controlling interference patterns that are popping up in you when you try to interact as a result of all this bullshit, quite frankly, bullshit, you want to become aware of that and move forward without shame or guilt about it. Because again, that's just perpetuating the same cycle that started it in the first place, that caused all this stifling in the first place. So you become aware of it without shame, without guilt, and you just move forward and you start to release them. You start to release them and replace their manifestations in your life. And this is when they just become a choice you can make. I can make a choice to cut off my mullet. I can make a choice. I can make a choice to go out in some garish outfit. I can make a choice to go out in a conservative outfit. But it's my choice at that point, and it gains power in the process when you transform it from that default necessity into a choice. All choices gain power in direct proportion to the larger field of choice potential surrounding them. Chew on that for a little bit. Now again, let's discuss the power of, when you do express yourself, there's something very powerful. There's a power to authenticity, there's a power in spontaneity. Because a lot of people are not going to like, let's say, what is this? What is this? Essentially, this is what's known as peacocking, right? Back in the day, peacocking. You're wearing some sort of gay apparel. Don we now our gay apparel, as the Christmas Carol goes. Fa la 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 la. Don we now our gay apparel. Fa la 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 la. Right? Wear the fucking Yuletide Carol, bitch. Like, go out. You put on some garish item, and people are gonna look at it. Right? People are gonna look at it. And this is essentially what you're doing. Why did that work? In and of itself, is it attractive? No. But what you're doing is you're summoning social pressure onto yourself. You're like, hey, look here. Look at this unusual thing that I have been so bold to wear. Look at this unusual thing I have decided to say. I've had the wherewithal or the fucking temerity to say out loud. This is my opinion. It's an unpopular opinion, maybe, and I'll say it. You're summoning social pressure onto yourself. So it becomes attractive by your ability to handle that pressure with grace. So I remember, for example, I used to go out and I'd have I wear this pink suit, like a 3-piece pink pinstripe suit. If I went out and I wore that suit and I was feeling confident, people would come up, they'd be like, damn, dude, I'd be loving it. Like, what is this suit? This is amazing. I love this. I love this suit. Right? They could be props. Now, on the other hand, if I was not feeling so confident, what would happen? They people would give me shit. They'd be like, oh, I like, oh, hey man, sick suit, bro. Oh, this is like sarcastically grabbing me. I hear people like, look at this fucking idiot. Nice suit, man. Right? So again, it's powerful by virtue of how you navigate the social pressure that you're essentially summoning onto you. So with this haircut, it's kind of like a very extreme peacocking, because you can't take this off unless you brought scissors with you to the club, right? You can't just remove it. Moreover, you have to grow this. This took time, right? So this is very extreme. So when I go out with this, it's very polarizing. You know, it's quite polarizing. They'll be like, you know, some people will be like, Joe Dirt, Joe Dirt, what, right, you know, they'll say like 3 different things, or they're like, disgusting, you know, like, I'd approach some, you know, like say I'm at the club, I go and talk to some women, and they'd be like, disgusting, get away, ew, ew, but then others are like, damn boy, give me a fistful of that mullet. That was one of my favorite comments ever. Damn boy, give me a fistful of that mullet. And, you know, so again, it's a very, very polarizing thing. But that's kind of like a macrocosmic or an exaggerated look at the power of authenticity. Because when I go out, and this is how you should be thinking going forward. When you go out, don't look for 10 people who think you're sort of okay. Yeah, this guy's okay. I guess he's tolerable. It's fine. You want to find that one person who thinks you're awesome. And if you have to talk to 10 or 20 people even to find that one person, it's going to be well worth it. Because number one, that authenticity, any attraction or interest you get from that person is going to be 10 times more powerful due to it being authentic and them connecting with you on like a deep level of chemistry that comes from the heart, to put it in a bit of a maudlin way, or a poignant way, sentimental way. I am in a sentimental mood a little bit because I have watched, last night I watched a film called Air Bud, which was from 1997. Apparently it's about a golden retriever who plays basketball. And, you know, the movie was, somebody said in the comments earlier, I was on a different, in my mentoring group, they were like, the 90s were the best. Actually, no. There were several kids who had bowl haircuts that made their head appear to be like the glands of a penis with hair. I found this very disconcerting. I did not like this at all. I'm like, why do they have all this penis hair? Like, the animal itself was delightful. Was absolutely delightful. And I actually have a golden myself. It inspired me to get him a haircut to resemble Air Bud. And you know, it was very moving, but there were several things I didn't like about it. For example, the villain was very cartoonish. And then there's one point where the original owner of the dog that abused the dog comes to sees the dog on TV, you know, doing his basketball shit, and then he goes to retrieve the dog, claiming it's his, and takes it back. And then the young boy breaks into this person's home to steal the dog back. He sees, and drunkenly, he's depicted with sitting among cans of Budweiser, drives after the boy, smashing through fences, smashing through the town sign, cutting through a park in an attempt to run the child down, nearly killing a couple having a picnic. And at this point, I'm like, well, shit, this guy's clearly not going to get the dog back in any case, because he's now committed several crimes, serious crimes, you know, reckless endangerment, drunk driving, attempted vehicular manslaughter. He's going to go to jail. He's not going to, you know, he's not going to have any claim to the dog anymore. And then the kid goes on a boat. The dude drives. First of all, the dude's rickety vehicle, the what do you call it? The steering wheel comes off, and then he drives into a lake. And I'm like, okay, now he's dead, because the steering wheel's like, he's going to be impaled through the chest on the steering wheel. This guy's fucking dead. Problem solved, right? But no, then he emerges later after they win the triumphant game and they go to court and all this. It's just ridiculous. So my suspension of disbelief was shattered. And then at the very end, though, he, the villain, like, yells at the judge, and he's taken away, presumably to be jailed for contempt of court. And at least in my headcanon, he goes to prison, and then while he's in jail for the contempt charge, it comes to light that he was in fact the one responsible for the rampage through town in the car, and he's arrested on he's charged with more serious crimes, and he's sentenced to 2 consecutive life sentences, and then he's murdered in the shower and shivved to death in the shower. And again, that's my headcanon for Air Bud, a lighthearted family comedy. But anyway, I did want to address this whole mullet thing. So again, look, there's a power in authenticity. You do you. Let the chips fall where you may, that you get laid where you may. So if that's your goal, right? Shout out to all my asexuals on the stream here. I do know a couple of those actually, fine people. But in any case, I think that the big takeaway here is that if you have that inkling when you go out and you want to wear something that's a little outside your comfort zone, take it out. Wear it. You know, I've had those thoughts too, where I'm like about to go out and I'm like looking at myself in the mirror. I'm like, is this too much? You know what? That might be too much. I'll leave it at home. And then every single time when I get out there, I'm like, damn it, I wish I brought it. I wish I brought it. Right? So again, stay true to yourself. Put your personality on the table, on the chopping block. And again, you're not looking for 10 people who think you're kind of okay. You're looking for the one that thinks you're awesome. And it's no skin off your back to go talk to 10 people in order to find that person. It's the best advice I can give you going into the midweek here, and hump day. And I'm going to leave you with that. Now, I am going on a trip here. I'm going to Alaska this weekend to visit my grandfather for his 101st birthday. This dude's like my hero, and I'm really looking forward to this. And then after that, Miami World Summit is coming up. Yes, we are putting on the World Summit, and I want you to join myself, Owen, Julian, Luke, Madison, the special guests, the love. Air Bud might make an appearance. We might have a special guest appearance by the basketball-playing dog, Air Bud. Honestly, he's not really that impressive. All he can really do is shoot fucking layups. He can't dunk. You know, show me when the dog can dunk, I'll be impressed. But for now, you know, but yeah, if you want to meet Air Bud, if you want to meet me, get a fistful of this mullet, come through to Miami, April 15th through 18th. And special information here. Right now, today is the last day to get the early bird price for admission. And at midnight tonight, the price is going to go up. So hit the link in the description below. It is actually www.miamiwintersummit.com. And hopefully I'll see you there. It's going to be a ball and a hell of a time. We got a lot of stuff going on, not just the seminar stuff. I'm also doing infield trainings that weekend. I'm really, really looking forward to it. So miamiwintersummit.com, April 15th through the 18th. Early bird tickets that period ends tonight at midnight, so get on it. Okay, Jeff, have a safe and fun trip. Please tell LSD to do more of it. Oh, wait, I mean RSD. Sorry, I was confused there for a moment. My brain was addled with lysergic acid. And sad to Europeans. You know, Europeans, we love you. We love you, and we'll be out there soon enough. I can't wait till you allow burger mutts to come out there, like myself once more, and I will have yet another Scandinavian adventure. So I'm broken snout from the ball. Shit. Anywho, you know what? Maybe I'll take a look at some of these comments here, just so we can maybe engage a little bit here. Europeans are not allowed. I wish I had just whip it out. Family comedy, DUI, dog with salami. No. So in the film, he actually lures the dog out of the magic bushes, not with salami, but with pudding cups, which I believe was also a technique employed by Bill Cosby, which is neither here nor there. And I had to stop wearing Speedos on the beach. Pool's closed, man. Pool is closed. Jeff, my dude looks stoned. No, this is just how my face looks. I'm 45 years old, so it kind of looks just a little haggard and fucked up, stoned even. But no, I generally do not ingest the marijuana until the evening times, until the work has been completed, and even then, probably not too much. Just a small amount. A small amount. Now, this is interesting. Julian's transformation will help with that trauma. Yeah, it will. So, that's kind of like getting at the roots of it. I personally like to work with the energies directly, right? I don't like to I mean, yes, we do want to enlist our intellect in the process of transcending itself, so reflection, introspection as to the roots of them, et cetera, meditative things like that. I want to work with the energies of tension directly. I want to work with the face, the voice, the body, and play with energy uses that you fear and just roll around with them. So you become accustomed to them, because that's the only way to actually learn to work with them in practice, right? And that's why I think that infield trainings are such a great tool, but I think they go hand in hand. I mean, we want to look at the... So I'm kind of about addressing the physiological, the intellectual, emotional, and physiological manifestation, like mechanical. How are these things being manifested? Like what is stifling? Like, it's one thing to talk in like kind of these abstract terms. I'm stifled. I can't express. I'm in my head. Okay, what the fuck does that mean? Like, from a biomechanical standpoint, what is actually happening to you when you say that? Well, let's break it down to like the molecular level. Let's break it down and learn to either train in incompatible behavior or learn how to run it off at the pass before it even starts. But again, awareness is the first step of the controlling chain of events, because the controlling chain of events is largely unconscious. Most of the time, you're not even aware of it. Why? Why are you not aware of it? Well, because again, you've held these to be useful and necessary for so long that they're now below your threshold of conscious awareness, right? So I really want to break it down and look at all the areas of the so-called human energy system when you're trying to communicate: the face, the voice, the body, the mind, the emotions, the intuition, what we might call the higher observer, how all of these draw from universal energy, and look at the interplay of all those different, disparate parts, and how are they integrated into a communicative system? How do they actually work in practice? How does it feel when these things start to come up? So you can even become aware of it. Because most of the time, at best, you're aware that you're in it. Like, I'm stifled. At which point you're fucked. Like, there's very little chance of coming out of that once you're in the state. But eventually you want to get to a stage where you're like, okay, it's about to happen. It's about to happen. And now I can, again, either not call the cue, or I can train in incompatible behavior. There's a variety of different ways to skin that particular cat. The harrowing ideal. I really found that amusing. You get the gold star. Anti-European racism. Well, Europe is great. But the thing is, I went there, and it's great, but it's full of fucking Europeans. I mean, that's the only kind of drawback for me. Half of them don't even talk English good, like us. Half of them don't even talk English good like us. Tongue in cheek, I kid, sort of. But yeah, hoping to get back there. But anyway, that's it for me today. Like I said, I just wanted to pop on here, do a quick one. Check out the link in the description, Miami Winter Summit. If you're available to make it, we'd love to see you. We'd love to roll around with you in the sun, maybe twerk on a car, perhaps get in a multi-person brawl on Ocean Avenue, or any number of things that could be delightful, and just, again, a ball, a hell of a time, an edificational, that's not even a word, an edifying time will be had by all. Anyway, I'm probably going to do another one of these on Friday, 2 days, so be on the lookout. I usually come on around this time, 5 p.m. And again, thanks for checking in, all y'all, and I'll see y'all on the proverbial flip side. God bless. And grow your fucking mullets, Perth, and rescind that stupid fucking anti-mullet policy. It's not helping the kids. It's not helping the kids. It's upsetting them, it's stifling them, and, it's just not doing anyone any good. All right? Peace.